All right, that's enough. What up? What up? What up? How are y'all doing? I mean, man, it's been a long time. I want to introduce you to my homegirl, my friend for years, fellow patriot, conspiracy queen, um, extraordinaire, Miss Conspiracy Queen herself. What's up, Steve? How you feeling, yo?
I'm good. I'm good. Good to be here. Glad to
Man,
see you back at it.
yeah. Well, as I says, man, I'm still working and stuff like that, working on other stuff. But I'm just but this right here, man, I really had to. I mean, it's trending. I do not like to do a lot of trends. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a trendy type person. But this right here, due to the what happened with Kari Lake in Arizona and stuff about the fraudulent election that happened out there, as well as everything that's happening with Trump and really stem from Cat Williams exposing the industry and how even politics exposing with the Joe Bidenomics, man, with all the all the LLCs that he had to transfer in some money, Hunter, what would they call it, Uranium One, Barisma, that's really happening and all that stuff. And it's all symbiotic. But for the first time, we can actually sit there and really analyze and get into the psyche of what the deep state is. So, anyways, today I was sitting there, just going through the election, watching about Iraq and all that stuff like that, right? what's happening in the, you know what I'm saying, in the sea, the wars, and everything that's happening in the world. Ukraine, anybody pick a blame, pick a subject. But the whole thing I'm starting to see is that it's all symbiotic and the timing. You feel me? What do you think?
I do agree. They don't waste an event. We'll put it that way. Everything
Right,
always seems to have a coordination to it, and everything seems to always have some purpose, right? They don't waste events. They don't waste, opportunities either.
right, right. And it's funny now that we know that, okay, Trump won New Hampshire, which we know it. I think it's going to be a slaughter in North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? But we are in some very, very dangerous times right now. Now, this right here could possibly, get me kicked off or blame YouTube. Number one is I'm not insinuating no violence. I don't hate nobody. I don't tend to kill anybody, and I'm not a terrorist. Just that's just a disclaimer. I'm just going by what's happening in the news cycle that y'all there on Facebook, y'all there on YouTube, and thank you very much, Elon Musk, for at least giving us a platform to speak. But other than that, y'all censor me. That just adds on to my library of stuff that you hit me with, and I'll sue the fuck out of you. Period. Now, back to the nature at hand. Did you hear about what happened with Kari Lake?
I did. I do recall some talk about it a while back, right? And I
Right,
do
right,
remember, you know, that she had talked about, this meeting, if you will, this conversation, but she didn't elaborate on it for quite some time. So I'm
right.
curious to see what the gist of all of this is.
What I say? I'm trying to find the actual article. What is it? No. This is, by the way, this is the Daily Wire. Okay, and the Daily Wire is a pretty good. It's a pretty good. I ain't gonna say it's the best. You know what I'm saying? But far as putting truth out, they be putting a lot of stuff out. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Oh, your phone's doing it again. It's back. Yeah, it's back up. Well, it's on Daily Wire. They might have took it off. You know what I'm saying? Because it's that. Yeah, they must have. Well, damn. You know what I'm saying? Well, no worries because I recorded the video. So let me get that bad boy up. Okay. Let me share that bad boy. I'm trying to get to it at the moment. Man, I had all this blame. Here we go. All right, this right here is the Kari Lake of what happened. Now this is from the RC. I think his name is
So what's going on? What is?
hold on.
I'm assuming this is our friend.
This dude named DeWitt.
This is back east. There are very powerful people that want to keep you out. Of the
I know they do.
But they're willing to put their money where their mouth is in a big way. So this conversation never happened.
This is crazy though. They should want me. I'm a great candidate. People love me. These people are corrupt.
Well, maybe you're right.
They are right. They are corrupt.
Maybe. This never happened. Don't go. Do me a favor though. I'll get myself in trouble. This, if you say no, which is fine, it's your choice. Don't tell people.
They're gonna try to have me murdered.
Not either. Today's world, man. If that stuff that came out last week is right about the cartel stuff, man. They say the cartel's operating in 50 states right now. Like all 50. You know?
Check this out. You see what you see? See how sly this cat is, Carolyn? Hello?
He is. I mean, he's setting her up with just enough information. It's like,
You're breaking up. You're breaking up again.
I don't hear an echo on my end at all.
Oh, all right. That's better. But anyway, check it out. Here goes even more now. The rhyme gets deeper, man. I go, this is the head of the RNC in Arizona, and she recorded this conversation.
So
what's going on? Who is it? What?
forget the who. Let me just tell you the what. Let's just say there are people calling around saying, gosh, no, they can't repeat this. Never repeat this. If you say no, don't. Because I got offered to buy out. Don't use it. Because then we lose our ability to get things done in the future.
Here's my problem. Rather than just say, let's work with her, she's a great candidate, because they don't own me. And it pisses me off.
Yeah, it's not almost about ownership.
It's about control.
I don't know it's about control.
Wow. I mean, it's funny. Like, you're actually seeing the psyche on the way the devil thinks. You know? And how flattering he's doing it. But the rhyme gets rougher as the rhyme goes on. Also, you can find this on the Daily Mail if you can find it.
It's about.
I can tell a little bit about the fact that they're willing to buy people. You know, it is partial about control, right? And it's no different than we've always thought with, you know, politicians getting bought by lobbyists and getting bought by, you know, handlers, if you will. Handlers is probably the better term.
Right.
Got all the handlers out here, right? They're the ones that are trying to make the Kanyes look crazy. They're trying to make the cats look crazy. They're trying to make everybody look crazy until things are disclosed.
Right. I mean, this is deep. This is deep, man. Let's see how wicked this gets even more.
Being on the team. I guess that's, you know what I mean?
They want to be on the team.
They want you to be on their team.
But
Just team. You know?
But if they're pushing a globalist agenda, I can't do that. So what do they want? What do they want me to do?
They want you to stay opportunists. But I'll tell you what I can offer you. But I said you can do whatever you want. It's a talking head, isn't it? So the ask of me was, it's kind of funny. So the ask I got today from back east was, is there any companies out there or something that could just put her on the payroll and give her to keep her out? And I said, well, what do you want to do? Like, whatever we need to do.
This is about defeating Trump. And I think that's a bad thing for our country. DeSantis is not America first. This is about the final death blow to Trump. And I don't think that's good for our country.
And you know I love Trump. I love Trump.
It's not good for our country, Jeff.
It's not. But at the same time, I'm not even sure Trump can win again. I don't know that he can win again. I think what it really comes down to for a lot of people, it's not really about like control or agenda. It's just about the ability to raise money to win. You know, if you really want to know, all of politics boils down to money. I think. Absolutely. And even on their end, like what makes them the most money?
I know all these consultants don't want their payday to end, and I don't want to make a deal with these kind of people.
So speak. What do you think so far?
I mean, it's kind of almost a script. It sounds scripted. You know, it's very similar to the leaks that happened with the Pfizer employee. It's very similar to a lot of these other agendas.
Mm-hmm.
And my question would be is what of the narrative are they doing but telling us in a very roundabout way, using her in her position on the world stage, if you will, certainly on the country, that, you know, he tells her all this information, you know, and ultimately she can tell him to go screw himself in probably a lot more colorful language, but it's still a method of soft disclosure. The cartel is operating in all 50 states. We already knew that.
Mm-hmm.
There's signal in all 50 states.
But of course they know. As I said, that's why this whole thing is like, it seems like it's like a complete psyop. You feel me?
Absolutely.
I mean, but
Absolutely.
everything is a psyop. But let's listen more because it's getting interesting though. You know what I mean? Because I said, by the way,
Mhm.
this is my first time listening to this. I listened to like the first like minute of it, and then I says I gotta do a video on it. So I'm learning myself. All right,
All right. Right on.
here we go.
This is a hill worth dying on. I'm not, if they're going to steal the election to make me and our movement go away, I'm not letting them do that. I owe it to the people of Arizona
Or,
to carry their torch and their voice.
or you don't go away, but you pause.
This is the battles right now, Jeff.
You pause. And then you fill your coffers.
Jeff DeWitt, that's
No,
his
the
name.
battle is right now. The battle is right now, and we don't have time to pause on this battlefield.
You're not. What you can't scratch their back. It's not afraid of you.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to offer them. And they're sitting around people that have something to offer them. You know what I mean? It's just it's a back scratching club. That's all DC is. It's a big back scratching club. You're in no position to scratch anybody's back, and you've already made it known that if you get there, you're not going to scratch anybody's back. I don't scratch people's back. You know, I've been on the outs with a lot of people for a long time because I don't scratch backs.
Mhm.
You know, where are we in 2 years if they steal the election again?
Listen to what you're saying. Why don't we do something about it
What
so that we the people can pick our?
what can we do?
I'm not willing to accept that. Then I'm going to be the biggest pain in these people's. Go back and tell them that. I'm running, and I'm going to be the biggest pain in their.
I'm willing to tell them that.
And they're going to have to kill me to stop me.
No, I know. Look, and
You don't have to tell them that, but I don't think they will. But
I don't think that's the way they are.
either they come or
You hear that? That's the way they are. You hear this? I don't know if this is scripted. I don't know if this is scripted, yo. Because she was getting pissed. You there? Hello.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Oh.
you know,
That was a little bit of emotion and ear. That's some damn good. That's some damn good acting.
I
Because
mean,
homeboy sounds like
she's not wrong.
yeah.
She's not wrong. Why should any of us, if we are given half the opportunity, just let this course not be corrected? Because I think it is a precipice of something very important. It's a very big precipice in history where we have, as people, the ability to put the brakes on and say, look, we're not going to do this. We're not going to drive it over the cliff. We're not going to drive it to the bottom of the ocean with the Titanic and the doe birds and the dinosaurs. Okay, we're going to actively fight against the push to push us into this globalism where none us have rights. None of us have speech, let alone free speech. None of us have the ability to be autonomous. None of us have the right to live, the right to survive, the right to exist.
Right.
Because this is going to play out over time.
Yeah. I mean,
And
this
I'm
is
pretty sure these same conversations happened before they elected Kennedy. I'm sure these same conversations happened, before they put Eisenhower and Roosevelt and, various and sundry others in place.
yes. Man, this is getting pretty wild though, man, because she getting pissed. But let's let this play out.
Around and try to work with me, or I'm
What
just
would that
going
entail?
that would entail not
All of
telling
them-
layman's telling me you got to distance yourself from Trump. No, you distance yourself
Well,
from DeSantis.
He's all butthurt about that.
But what I'm saying is, don't tell people that. I'm with Trump, okay? I want to work for
I
the
love
betterment of Arizona.
This-
I'm not going to let these people back in DC tell me not to run.
I'm telling you.
I'm not going to pause for 2 years. The battle is now. I'm offended by whoever these people are that they're trying to
Why?
buy
You
me
should
out of.
Well, you should be honored.
I'm offended that there's people back there who just don't give about our country.
Do you understand that? You should be honored. That means they know how powerful you are.
Well, I can tell them
If
that.
you weren't powerful, they wouldn't want to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Right? You should be. Very few people get this.
I know. I'm pissed that they don't care more about our country. It's all about the mighty dollar to them. And that's offensive.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
They want to get Trump so bad. They want him out
It's
so
not
bad.
about Trump. This isn't about Trump. It's about you. It's not about Trump.
I'm good.
It's about you. It's not about Trump. Some people that are in on this. I know.
Listen, I can win. Why don't you go back and tell them that I can win? And why don't they get behind me?
I see these things through a different lens. It's very personal to you. This was you. It was your name on the ballot. And I get that. And it's a very personal thing.
Well, I have a appointment coming up, and I have to work on my book.
Yeah.
I'm not good. I appreciate their concern.
Just to say, is there a number at which
I can be bought.
not be bought?
That's what it's about.
You can take a pause for a couple of years.
No.
And then go right back to what you're doing.
No. 10 million, 20 million, 30, no. A billion, no. This is not about money. This is about our country. I think it's disturbing that they would that anybody would think this is.
No, to be fair, even me, I'll say this. I want a fresh face right now for the reason that I've never seen anyone. I can't think of a single person in a federal race who's lost, ran in and won. I can't think of it. If you can think of it, let me know.
I'm not going to let these people who hate our country tell me not to run. You should call them and tell them to get behind me.
Wow, dude. This is authentic, dude. I mean, that's crazy.
He's just greasy. Everything about what he says is just greasy. She should be honored that they
Yeah.
want to buy her off. No, I would be offended too.
Wow. I mean, this
Sacrifice your morals, your character,
is
everything that you stand for money.
right, man. This is our government, dude.
I don't even think it is the government. I think it's, I don't know if you've seen some of these documentaries, but there's like a family.
No, it isn't.
That-
It isn't. Wait, hold on. No, it isn't. It isn't AI, man. Because the Daily Mail is always good for his stuff. They get all the Veritas stuff and all that stuff like that. And I've been watching them a lot. And also due to her mannerisms and the way that she speaks and stuff like that, the way she pauses, because I've watched a lot of her speeches and a lot of her interviews and stuff like that. You can tell the difference when it's AI because of the feeling and the fluctuation of her voices, and also the breathing is what it doesn't sound automated, which I have earphones, and I do sound, so I know that's authentic. You can tell the difference between an AI voice and a regular voice. AI can't give feeling like what a person can, especially in rhythmic speech. But
Yeah, the cadence would be off.
right, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think that a lot of what was perpetrated and reported upon was factual. I don't think
As in,
that
elaborate.
I don't think that there were all of these surplus people. Okay. Now you can fudge it a little bit because there's always people coming in, moving here, moving there. You know, maybe they're in between having a specific designated address just yet. You know, forwarding addresses on all of that stuff. When it comes down to the state's election, things of that nature, you know, there's a reason why they waited as long as they did to put out those census results.
Right.
Okay. There's a reason why it takes so long for some of the statistics and everything to show up, and for all of that data to be compiled into an accurate, factual account.
Mm-hmm. But you
Because
see,
I don't know about you, but I
Right.
was sitting here in my house and we didn't fill ours out for the census for 2020. We had a bunch of other things going on at the time, and we had a tornado rip through this neighborhood that week. So that was the census was the last thing in my mind.
Right.
But they sure enough came up to my door. Knock, knock, knock. Hello. I'm from the U.S. Census. You've got to be kidding me.
Hmm.
Right?
Right.
And those numbers change every single day.
Oh, it was.
From
Wait, hold up. His name is Jeff Wade or something. He's like he's like a senior in our RNC officer in Arizona. Here we go. Let's get back to this real quick.
I mean,
I can
would
win,
say
and they
those
should get
words.
behind me.
I will happily say those words.
Yeah.
Do you think my words will carry any weight?
Okay, well, did you think you would come in here and that I would be bought?
It's not being bought.
Yes, it is.
I think.
It is being bought.
No.
They are trying to buy me out of running. And
I
it's actually, I mean, all right, I'm flattered. I'm offended. I'm offended for our country. We have people like this who live here.
What I think is this, is it can give you an incredible opportunity to have a bigger voice to fight for stuff than you currently do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want to deal with people like this. These people are un-American, and I think they're unethical, and I would be absolutely immoral if I did that.
Again,
that's immoral. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror if I, you know.
it's very powerful people that are willing to, they really want someone different. They want new names, whatever it is.
So they want Jim Lehman. That's a new name.
No, actually, that's not even, that's a possibility, but they're even asking me like.
I know they've got all these new names, and I'm going to beat each and every one of them. Sorry, Jeff. Take it back to them.
Oh.
I gotta get working. I love you, but I gotta get
He
working.
sounds scared.
I appreciate it.
I mean, I'm just, can't believe this.
Hey, again, Be honored. Instead of them just look. Instead of just them working to beat you.
Be honored, man. Be honored. Like really. Wow. Be honored to do evil. Look at this,
Be
man.
honored to betray the will of the people of your area you're representing. Be honored to be bought and be yet another part of the corruption that this woman was trying to battle. Okay.
Wow.
And I think
Yeah.
there are, at least from my perspective, there's a lot of people that get into this whole zoo, if you will, and this theater, this political theater, that don't start out corrupted. Okay. And as time goes on, if they decide to make careers out of it, it's not just, a 1 term, 2 term, whatever the position that they're trying to be in is, and they run for several elections and they, stay in their positions. I do think that after a certain period of time, the career politicians, they just get used to the way the game is played. They know how to play the game. They've been doing it for a long time. And they've been doing it so blithely with just no care to really what the people in the country need. Because if that was the case, if they were there to be public servants as they are elected to do, quite often elected to do, and not just appointed to do, then they would be doing what the people need them to do. They would be working for the people. That's the job. It's the whole point of the office. It's not to get rich. It's not to buy 16 houses and figure out how to, become a money launderer, a career money launderer, a legal career money launderer. But the point would be that they're supposed to be helping to address the problems of the people in the country, address what they are bringing to the table, saying, look, this is the problem here, this is the problem here, this is the problem here, and it needs fixed. And quite often it just goes on and on and on and on, to the point to where I can't tell you how many times people in this state have gone to the town council, the board of elections, they've gone to the school board, they've gone to the state superintendents about the school system and the way the school system works and all of the ins and outs that need to be fixed within the cities. And it just goes unchecked year after year. And it gets handed down. It becomes a generational problem from one office to the next, to the next, to the next. And it's just shuffling around papers and bureaucracy. And people are tired of it.
Man, I tell you
when
what,
it all comes down to it, they're tired of it. And this smart little smirking fool on the screen is the exact reason why they do it. Because they've got people like him that are the go-between. They're the middleman. They're there to smooth the feathers, to put in the new person. There may be a lot of people that supported her, and there may be just as many that don't want women in the office.
But you know
because
what?
we're not too far removed from that.
This makes me a lot. Well, you start your yeah. This makes me feel very you know what I'm saying, a lot better, and it makes me trust Kari Lake a little bit more because of her moral standpoint and where she stands on this. And it's giving me a different light on her. I mean, look, I'm not down that she was part of the media. You know what I'm saying? But she was dissed in the Arizona election. Everybody knows it, you know, and what she been going through and all the threats and all that stuff that she been saying throughout her interviews and stuff. And now this. But let's see where else and see how far this goes and see what's happening.
They're trying to like.
This is about getting Trump out.
Nah,
Yeah, it is.
Trump never killed once.
But it's about DeSantis, getting DeSantis in. Getting DeSantis is getting Trump out.
You're reading too deep into it.
Well, let's see what happens. Maybe my case will go through. Maybe they'll do the right thing.
I hope so.
I
I
do
doubt
too.
it.
That's
I
my
hope
first
so.
goal. But they can't have me in the governor's office because then we're going to root out some of this corruption.
But again, it's like,
You know what it is? The people don't get to choose their elected officials unless they're pre-approved by the swamp. And the swamp doesn't pre-approve of me.
you need a strong party to help
I think
you
you should go public with this and then say, hey,
no.
these people don't want to, they don't want,
And then
they're,
I turn my key in my car and I go,
you know.
I like my car.
Tell them I'm not flattered. I'm offended that
Don't
they,
tell anybody we had this conversation.
I'm offended that they don't care about our country more.
I actually wish you'd just give me a counter offer this big. Give me a counter.
I can't be bought.
Come on.
I can't.
All right, I'll do it.
Okay, bye-bye.
Whoa. Whoa. Opinion?
I mean, you know, he's making it sound as though they're going to go through the effort of getting rid of him if he doesn't do what they want. Now, I do think it's a setup. I can't help but think it's a setup. I can't help but think how many of these conversations have happened that nobody knows about. How often, how far down and how far up the ladder these conversations happen, and how often they were actually taken up on them. You know, I commend her for standing on her moral ground and for standing up for the face of all of it, right?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you know, politics aside, it is a public seat. It's a public office.
Remember a long time ago when Jesse Ventura said that he would that a lot of politicians, even they take you to the back office, they tell you what's going on and stuff like that. But what did he say? The back shed. Remember when Jesse Ventura was talking about that?
I think so.
You
And
remember-
even he said that, you know, the whole theater of politics was so much more fake than wrestling ever could have been, and it was scripted.
Uh-huh.
It was designed to be fake. It was entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, what cracks me up is how much correlation there is to all of the events.
Yes.
Okay. All of these events, they line up in succession.
Yes.
Okay. My thought is you're going to see all kinds of stuff coming out
Yes.
about what she mentioned and what he mentioned in the very beginning, probably,
Mm-hmm.
with the stuff going on with the border. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So many people have immigrated here legally for a right to have a shot at what all the rest of us have been trying to work towards.
Right.
Right? And they are upset at the fact that, you know, people that they know that they, you know, once they become citizens and they, you know, become, if they choose to go into the military, they serve our country as well as having immigrated here legally, right? And they look and they're like, what is going on? And everybody just turns a blind eye to it. And you've got all of these politicians, these career politicians, the newer, younger politicians all going, we need more people. We need to beef up our districts. We need people so that we can have this endless succession of, you know, just stalwart gains back and forth and division. Because whether you end up with an all red house and an all blue Senate or however it works, right? Whichever order they end up in for whichever term, you're going to end up with the groups basically trying to fight to keep each other's bills and, you know, everything from being passed. And it makes it to where nobody can get anything done.
Right.
And that's not good for the country either. Right? They have to be able to work together. And more often than not, they do. You know, they put on this big theater and big act. But at the end of the day, they're all still going to the same little, you know, club to go eat. They're all still going to the same country clubs and yacht clubs and, you know, parties and hobnobbing with each other and everything else. That doesn't change. The party affiliation doesn't change it either.
Right.
Right? It's like, especially when they're newer in the game like she is, and this be her first term. Now, a lot of people, even the aides and, you know, some of the lower staff, are dazzled by the names that these people run into, the circles they run in, the people they know, the people they talk to, the access that, you know, they have to famous people, and they're just flabbergasted. They're dazed by it. But at
mean,
the end of the day, it's all still the same clubs.
it's like nuts that it's like nuts that how all this is happening. I mean, it's not. It's the time. I was saying it for years. I go. It's the timing. The timing is just too perfect for this. You know. And nobody wants to really say anything about it, but yeah, I really believe that these cats have no choice, but they're going to try to assassinate his ass. I mean, there's going to be an attempt. If there has not been an attempt already, you know, and and it makes me wonder about Vivek saying save Trump, vote Vivek, and I'm like maybe that has a double meaning, dude. That this was all in a plan.
Right. A lot of their speak is double speak. Right. And that's what I was saying to you earlier. If you followed the pattern
Yeah,
over the last 8 years, okay, certainly the World Economic Forum Young Leaders bunch that was in 2016 that they got
right,
together, and it's all of these, you know, under 50s, right? That's
right,
relatively still young for a politician,
right,
okay? And it seems to me at least like it's a changing of the guard, and it has been for a while.
right,
It's just a matter of whether or not you're paying attention to the whole play, the whole stage. There have
right,
been a lot of older world leaders that have stepped down, a lot of older world leaders that have let's see, now we've got monarchies that are
mhm,
abdicating their throne, okay, and they're disappearing out of the grandstanding public eye.
right,
You know, it's starting to add up to what looks like the changing of the guard, and that's exactly what that young leaders summit was about. It was about having all of these younger people like Macron and like Trudeau and
But
like the Stacey
there was a lot of,
Abramses,
but there was a
the
lot.
Tulsi Gabbards of the world all getting onto the same page.
But there was a lot that was against that agenda too. They weren't too happy. They weren't too happy. I mean, even Alex Soros left the blame thing when the Argentinian president came out there. You know what I'm saying? With the sideburns, he looked like one out of the '70s movies, but he cool as hell. Even though I don't understand a word he's saying. The Argentinian president, that dude's a trip though, dude. You know what I'm saying? But it's a good thing, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And from what I gathered of that, they basically told them, you know, y'all can pack sand because we're not going to follow through with all of this craziness. It doesn't benefit the survival of humanity
Mm-hmm.
for a small portion of the population to determine what's best for everybody. And what's best for everybody ends up being this crazy authoritarian regime where, again, we have no rights, no free speech, no autonomy. You know, we can't exist. We don't have a right to exist.
Mm-hmm.
And moreover than that, that we're all beholden to this system that they're trying to push because they have to bankrupt all of the countries to get there.
Right. I mean, it's like, wait, like what's next? Like people they say like what's next? I go, you know, it can go many ways right now. You know, and also first and foremost, this is biblical. I mean, I'm telling y'all, man, we are about due for some Moses type stuff to happen. You know what I mean? I mean, really. To see that last warning, that last showing from God, and I ask God, even right now, give us that last one, and if they don't listen, thy will be done. I'm asking like Abraham. There's too many people that actually believe in it, believe in the truth through Jesus Christ, for real. You know what I'm saying? There's not a lot, but there's still a lot. You know what I mean? And and I don't know, man. I mean, it's like this. I mean, I can honestly say that right now, man, these times that we're in are it's completely in God's ballpark in there, man. I can't like this. I can't even predict. You know what I'm saying? But the same thing you can't predict, but but at the same time, you know, because it's all written. You know, it's just you're not impressed, but you know the end game, but it's just so blame interesting how it's being played out. It really is. You know what I mean?
It is because, they're looking to, I don't know if you caught one of the articles, but I caught an article recently that said something about um, scientists were looking at using the world's biggest nuclear reactor to provide renewable, sustainable energy for the planet.
Right.
Okay. I would love to see that if it were possible.
Right.
Okay. Because it gives us another possibility. And not only that, it gives us time,
Right.
right? This is that time that you were talking about. You want to see the time where we have a little bit longer. If it's God's will, we'll have time to get, to try to push this train back away from the edge,
Right.
right? It's not going to happen with
God
one
give us a
person.
band-aid before your wrath comes.
Give us a Hail Mary.
Right. You know what I mean?
Literally.
No, I'm asking for a band-aid because it's inevitable what's going to happen because now that we know what these people are capable of, you know what I'm saying? They're going to come back 1,000 times harder.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And the part that's really seems to be baffling to me, it continues to be baffling to me, is people that want to go the independent route. And I understand that. I absolutely do. But the thing is that is exactly like having 2 lottery tickets, and you have a 50-50 shot of either one of them being good, and somebody handing you a piece of paper and saying, you won, go turn this in.
Mm-hmm.
And you go to take that piece of paper in and say, well, they told me, this would work. And
Mm-hmm.
they said I won.
But we know what this still sticks in my head, that these people actually said that basically you'll be on and all of
Be
a sudden because
honored that you're powerful enough that they want you to take a pause. Pause for what?
what?
For what? I hold the people in charge of that state
Mm-hmm.
responsible in part for
Mm-hmm.
for my father passing
That's
because
the
of the level of propaganda and programming that they pushed for so long
mm-hmm.
from the very top all the way down to individual practitioners of health. We'll just use that term, practitioners of health,
Man, I want
and
to
made
tell
it to where they were forced to have to try to get as many of the people in their practices as possible to cooperate.
I mean this is a Hail Mary move. They're trying to they let everybody vote when they want, what it doesn't matter what party, and she still lost. So now they're shook. You know what I'm saying? They're very, very shook. And far as I'm concerned on VP, just on character and where she stands, I say Carrie Lake, man. She got balls. I mean,
I mean, I would have to too, just because I don't like the notion of having someone that has the background that some of the others do.
right.
Okay, for different reasons. But when you have somebody that has a background and the resources already tied into a big pharma, I don't care if it was vitamins. I wouldn't care if it was Band-Aids or sippy cups or whatever. When you have a global organization like the WHO that has been given carte blanche to do whatever, however they deem necessary, and then you align people that are somewhat conflict of interests into a leadership position that could potentially have to steer the ship if something were to happen. Because
Right.
I've already voiced that. I think it wouldn't matter which candidate they prop up, either or. I
Right.
think their plan will be to have a backup, regardless of which one they put up, and the backup is going to be the one that they're going to tap to take over.
Dude, there's this. I mean, here's a theory I have. If they so per se, if they do the impeachment, right now, like this is what I understand now. Okay, I'm the, all the evidence of voter fraud, and I said I'll sue the fuck out of you, YouTube and Facebook. I don't give a damn. But let alone because this is the truth. This ain't no conspiracy theory. This ain't no fact checking. But you know what? All the evidence is out there of complete voter fraud through every type of media. All the evidence is out there. Same thing with January 6th. All right. All that footage that you're trying to limit all the footage of January 6th to 11,000 hours. There was 1 million people there. Okay. You have millions of hours of footage. The people have the evidence. Somewhere, somehow, some way, somebody's there. Look what they did. They slapped what they did. They slapped that FBI agent dude. with a few months in jail or probation or some shit like that. Meanwhile, you have all the January Sixers still in jail with no blame trial. All right, you sit there, you have people sitting there raiding the White House, spray painting the fence and White House trying to get in, invading the blame for all for Palestine and all that. No disrespect to the Palestinians or anything like that, but still, there's like something's wrong here when when they're attacking Capitol Police and all that stuff like that. Let alone not one of them's in jail. Why is that? You know. Then you have at the same time, first they try to impeach him, then they have all these lawsuits and all that stuff like that. Then they try to take him off. Then they try to take him off the vote. Now you have Alexander Soros basically put an encrypted meme saying that they want to kill him with $47, with a 4 and a 5 on it, with all the different with all the other different numbers that go to a $101,000 bounty on Trump's head. And then these people think we're fools. A lot of people are fools and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't see no deeper than the front of their nose. But at the same time, look, it's right there. It's like this. They're telling you what they're going to do in plain sight. The movie Civil War. Look what's happening at the border right now at this moment.
Absolutely. Right. And that's what I said. I said the way that this is being set up, if you track the rest of it, because you can't just look at our country. You have to look at what's been happening on the world stage.
Oh, fucking! What was it? What's happening in Germany with all the tractors and all that stuff like that. Now also the trucker. Well, from what I hear, the truckers joined in on it. Some things are happening in the Netherlands. They're still mad in Ireland. They're just trying to you have to look for that stuff, but they're still fighting in Ireland. England, that's basically on lockdown. Australia, I was talking to Dingo. I got an interview with Dingo that I have archived. I'm just using that for a later date. But that right there, you know what I'm saying? He's going to tell you what's happening in Australia. It ain't looking too good out there. And here's the crazy thing about it, right? About this with the whole world. And this goes out to the whole world. It really does. You know what I'm saying? For me, that I know y'all look at us, you know what I'm saying? America, to sit there. I know our politicians say, well, we're the leaders, and yada, 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 yada. Okay, I get it to a sense, but it's not to my head. If anything goes down here, we can't help none of y'all. Facts. Y'all gonna have to make your countries great again. Y'all can't look just to us. We can meet you in the middle, but that's all we can do.
Right, but where were the protests against all of the lockdowns and all of the mandates and the orders and the ordinances and all of that stuff here?
You know what?
It didn't really happen. It didn't happen. It was protests against police violence.
I want to tell you
that were met with more police violence and inaction.
I want to tell you what, and I thought this was pretty funny. Okay. And for me, all this really started for me, I'll be honest with you, was 9/11. When I seen the buildings go down, and I said, dude, that was demolition. There's no way two buildings can go straight down perfectly like that. With airplanes compared to that blame building is tinfoil. You know what I'm saying? I knew that. It's like taking a piece of tinfoil and put it against us and put it to a metal beam. You know, that's how thin an airplane, one of those planes are, for how big it is. And you're telling me two airplanes knocked down two towers. And that was, dude, I saw the second tower go down. I saw the second tower get hit. So I saw both of them go down the same way. I'm like, I don't believe that shit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it whatsoever. And that's when it all began. But then when you sit there and you look back in 1996, you know what I'm saying? November, what was it? September 11th, 1996.
Yep.
When George Bush was talking about the New World Order, wasn't that funny that was on 9/11, 1996, and then 9/11 happened in 2001?
Well, what's even funnier was that was the third attack on the Trade Center.
Oh yeah, that was in 1990. I remember the one in 1990,
Yeah,
1990 something. That one that was inside.
94,
Yeah,
3,
90,
4.
yeah,
They
something like
attacked
that.
the lobby.
And that was election time too.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That was when Clinton was going in there. Also at the same time, if you look at, that was around the same time the scandal before he came into office.
Yep.
You know, with his strange kids and shit. But there was also some his little sexcapades, you know. But it's kind of nuts, and a lot of people don't remember. But 9/11 was the beginning of the dumbifying people, which really, I'd say 1995 when they took terror out of school. That's when shit started happening, like Columbine.
Well, I don't disagree, but I think it went further back than that. When you had the Rockefeller Carnegie Mellon merger into,
Jekyll Island,
well, they merged
but
into the public school system
yeah,
because Rockefeller himself said, you know,
yeah,
all of these professions are noble professions, but we need worker bees, not professionals. You know, we're going to still need doctors, we're still going to need lawyers, but we don't need, a country full of, you know, lawyers and doctors. We need a country of workers because that was during, a big boom of the Industrial Revolution in this country.
right,
And once, they took over the education system, they began to change the curriculum, right?
hmm
And I can remember my grandmother and her aunt having a conversation about the fact that, the kids back when they were little got more education by the time they hit 5th grade than kids do now that go into college.
but here's one thing. If we can go deeper and further than that, though, man, you know what I'm saying? Even if it came to the Rockefellers, and I was talking to a friend about this, right? And I was like, you know what, man? I was like, this right here, this been going on since the day the Ten Commandments was was written by God's hand, simultaneously worshiping Baal
And Mammon.
and which basically the Mammon. You know, I mean, simultaneously, as God was writing the Ten Commandments with His hands, they were they were building a golden calf.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see all this symbolism and all this stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Inside the music, inside the halftime shows. I mean, I haven't watched a Super Bowl in years
Neither
because
have I.
because of I mean, I don't even watch and if I do, I turn it off. Well, no, I watched one, but I didn't watch the halftime show. I usually watch the halftime show online so I can find all the symbolism.
Same here.
Yeah.
Exactly the same here.
You know, I can find all the symbolism, man, because as I said, it's a trained thing. You know, I went on with my friend and she liked the shirt, and I says I ain't gonna wear that shirt. Why? I go because it was a um it had an eye on it. And I says no, dude. Why? I go I don't wear anything like that that has that type symbolism. Plus, at the same time, it's it was like it looked like it was Mayan.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like really old, real old. You know what I'm saying? Out here, and I'm like, nah, dude. You know what I'm saying? That's some witchcraft shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Homie, don't play that. And it's kind of crazy that now you there? Oh,
Yep,
it's
I'm here.
yeah.
My phone's dying, so I'm getting close to my hour.
Oh, but anyway, it's kind of crazy how things are happening. And then when we talked about the past, which I like to go into, like things like CERN. You know what I'm saying? I mean, back in the 1950s, I mean, back in the 1940s and 1930s, little do a lot of people know is that that the original Nazis were very satanic. All right, they're messing with flying. Everybody talk about UFOs, flying saucers, and all that stuff like that. Then, if you really want to look into the disappearance of Eisenhower,
Yeah.
also the disappearance more recently within the past 20 years. I don't know what the year is. I'd say get 30 years max. That when President Clinton and Hillary Clinton disappeared at a Bilderberg meeting, you know, meeting
Hmm.
aliens, talking about the grays and the whites and all that stuff like that, you know, and you're looking at all the attributes of this is like right in front of you,
Always
plain as
has
day.
been.
Cat, I mean, it's right in front of you, and people, oh no, that's all hocus pocus. And I'm going to tell you what. At the end of the day, when we all leave, like leave this planet, like it's, you say you're a atheist, there's no such thing as an atheist,
Not in a foxhole.
huh?
Not in a foxhole.
Yep, there's no such thing as an atheist. All right, because there's no way in the natural order of things, the way y'all portray the natural order of things, completely inverted like that, and believe it, that up is down, down is up, left is right, right is left, good is evil, and evil is good, and you believe that, there is something wrong with you.
Well, that's the corruption.
Yeah, there is something wrong. This is the veil. This is the delusion that revelation that God was talking about. Y'all people are delusionary. You know, for real,
And all they're
delusionary.
trying to do is buy time.
Right.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Because like this, if God gives us time, dude, you're gonna have only thing you have is 3.5 years, and you know that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna sit there and go about the rapture is gonna be tomorrow, the rapture is pre-rapture, during rapture, after I mean, rapture pre tribulation, during tribulation. I don't know when it is. It'd be nice. Oh, thing I ask God is it not to pass me by, dude. I'm not trying to put no speculations. I try to preach your word. I try to tell people. I try to live this life. You know what I'm saying? I did the best I could because it's about to go down, world. It's about to go down. Y'all got to wise up. The evil is right in front of your face. So
And
you
they're
have,
not hiding it.
and if there's any press right? You have the whole interview, the whole conversation in context right here, you know? So
Mhm.
if you believe the news, you know what I'm saying? Believe the news, but the truth is right here in front of you. You right now I am showing you Satan, a child of Satan in action, that you should be honored to be chosen to do evil
And be flattered to do it.
and be flattered to do it. You know?
Hmm.
I mean, and the crazy thing is that he made it sound so pretty. You know what I'm saying? That you know that a weak-minded person would believe it. Am I right or wrong?
Well, and good for her. Good for her for saying, there's no number.
Uh-huh.
Because it seems like that's a topic that keeps coming up, right?
Yeah.
It's not about justice. It's not about equity. It's not about a future. It's not about the good of humanity.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
about
yeah. Because he sat
a
there and
number.
told Kari like to name her price. Like in my mind, I'm like, yo, I mean, Kari played it nice. I'm like, dude, who the fuck's paying you? Who you messing with?
Right. And what's your cut?
Yeah. You know, I'm like, what? You know, I mean, here's the thing is, you know what? Long time ago, I had a dream like that, you know, and I'm not going to mention his name because I'm praying for this man really hard, but he is a celebrity, and I can and I do love him. You know what I'm saying? And I tell you what, this guy wanted me to sell my soul, and the way he said it. And years ago, back in 1995, I had a dream about this. And at the same time, this conversation was the exact same conversation I had. You know what I'm saying? It was like
Mhm.
and I ain't gonna lie. I was having this dream I had. That was my conversation with the devil. Seriously. hmm And dude, that's why this is so intriguing to me. And then he was scared because he sat there and goes, "Well, why don't you go to him? Why don't you go pull up?" He goes, "No, man, I don't want to go in my car and all of a sudden turn my ignition and."
Mhm.
Why would you fucking say that, dude? Why would you say that?
Because he's making it sound like he's got something to lose as
hmm
well.
Right.
Trying to play on her pity, trying to make it sound like he didn't have a choice,
But
right?
but he was serious though. He was serious. Look, hey, think about this. Let's look at Cat Williams. Okay, look how they're reacting. Look how all these comedians are reacting to Cat Williams. Okay, look at Hart. Look at Steve Harvey. Dude, now there's photos of blame Steve Harvey because you know 50 Cent. But 50 Cent, he a clown, and he a clown in a good way though. He cracked me up. He did.
Well, I kind of go back to the same stipulation that, it's a brilliant career move because he's getting ready to go on another tour. And this popped off. All of this popped off right before he's about to go on a tour.
but
So he got a whole bunch of free press, got his name in everybody's mouth, got everybody trying to at him and talk about it and this, that, and the third. And, it's a brilliant move. It's nothing that he hasn't said before.
yeah, the
He's
truth.
been saying this stuff for a long time.
Mm-hmm. And you know what the biggest thing that I like about Cat Williams? He's like it. All my millions I have about my net worth. Huh. He's like, I have all my money. And he means that too. 150 days a year.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, the funny thing is, you know, while all of the things that he did say, I don't recall ever seeing anybody really say that he was lying about any of it.
Right. And, and then you're talking about all this um dirt that's coming up on Biden and all that stuff, both of them. Oh, Fannie Willis and her. That case is dead. Smith, that's dead. I mean, all them cases are slayed. I mean, there's nowhere that to go. The whole narrative is broken.
Right. But when you look at it from the spiritual context, Jay, right when you're going to go pray or right when you're going to go do a Bible study, what happens, right? You can be wired all day, and the second you go start reading your Bible, you start getting sleepy,
Right.
right? Or something catches you on the TV and you just look up for a second, and the next thing you know, you're watching the TV instead of reading or doing your Bible study, or
Well,
somebody calls you.
I usually have a Bible study or something like that on, even when I go to sleep.
Right. I do that too. I fall asleep listening to scripture.
Yeah. It's the only way
Now,
I have peace.
what amazes me is how people simply take it out of context, but it's the same playbook, right? It's distraction. All of these things are put in place to distract us
But but
from
but
what?
but
From
but but,
prayer.
but here's the thing that I say. Why do I? Well, why do we? No. How about this question? I see it as one big symbiotic blob.
Hmm.
I mean, it's like you see all this stuff contained. It's like um, it's crazy stuff. It's almost like spiritually, man. You can take this world and just pick it up with your hand,
Hmm.
metaphorically speaking,
Hmm.
and it's irrelevant. I
Right.
mean,
You can spin it from one direction and get, 50 different news stories on one side, spin it the other way and get 50 more over here.
but it's something. Maybe it's something that we will never have a grasp or understand why. Because as I guess, I'm not trying to make people that believe in God and Jesus Christ to get their willies up, man. All right, but there's many aspects, and I'm using that word very, very generally, but also at the same time cautiously.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
I do, but you're not wrong.
Right.
Okay.
That
And from my perspective, you're going to have the willies up because it's warfare. It's really and truly warfare,
right.
because we're not just talking about, the next 3.5 years. We're talking about the next 10,
You
the
know
next
what?
15.
I ain't gonna lie to you. All right. I was kind of freaked out about this. I think it was like the beginning of the new year. I saw, how people have been been saying that they're starting to see people with black eyes.
Hmm.
I think I saw a person with black eyes,
And I wouldn't be surprised.
and that was like a couple of weeks ago. And what's funny was it was so black that it was freaky because the lights reflected like so strong.
Mm-hmm.
And then she saw that I saw her. Then she walked away and walked out and stared at me and walked out that fast. And I knew what it was.
Well, I wouldn't discredit it because believe it or not, that's the fourth time I've seen something and heard just exactly what you said in the last week. They're
Mm-hmm.
not hiding anymore.
Uh-uh.
Why should they?
Dude,
They've got so many people out here paying homage to them that
I
they
mean,
don't have
yeah,
to hide
dude.
anymore.
These motherfuckers have black eyes, dude.
And I know what you mean. You're talking about the light hits the face and
No, the eyes. No, I saw the light. The eyes were black, but I saw it was a reflection it was a weird reflection. It was like a shiny, like opal black, no white to the pupils.
no, I know what you mean. It's like the light hits the face and the eyes are so black and so completely devoid of any color to them at all
Yeah,
that it's like all the
it,
light that's hitting the face gets sucked into that abyss there.
it's weird. It
And
was
all
some
you
weird
see
shit.
is the dark looking back at you.
But these were eyeballs, dude. These were
Mm-hmm.
eyeballs. You know, and the only reason being is I haven't really said anything about that is because I've been seeing other people been saying that they be seeing that shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's freaky. It's
I'm
freaky.
sure it is.
It's freaky. But I knew God was with me and I was cool. You know what I'm saying? That's why it fled like that. Because I knew what it was. You know, that angel was in back of me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you see, Jay? You yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, I see. You know what I'm saying? But instantaneously, that second, that nanosecond, you know what I'm saying? All that knowledge was there for me because it wasn't my own.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? All that knowledge was there. Yeah, all that knowledge was there for me because that knowledge, the knowledge I have now, a lot of it is not my own. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how I know some of this shit.
Because you have discernment the same way.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I don't understand how I know the things that I know, but
Hmm.
I don't question it because
It's always right.
it always gets confirmed. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have to ask. I just mention a thing or two,
Uh-huh.
and then it's like that's the doorway. And, I've kind of stepped through that doorway and I mention what I do, and whoever it is that I'm speaking to confirms everything else that I didn't say.
Hmm. Yeah, man. And then then I go talk about what happened in Miami. And I know Biscayne. I used to go to Forrest Gump shrimp out there.
Hmm.
You know
I
what I'm
know
saying?
Biscayne too. We
Yeah.
stayed off of Key Biscayne out there, right in Miami, right by the beach.
Hmm. Because I lived right across the intercoastal. I lived on South Beach.
Hmm.
All right. This is about I was like in my 20s, young, dumb, full of cum. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But anyways, it was when I was watching that and of all these and they like the ghost hunter dudes with the equipment and how it talked
Hmm.
back. I was like, whoa, dude. I was like, whoa. And I'm not into that stuff, but I knew these people didn't believe in God. But I'm like this, man. These are the days of Noah, man. I'm telling y'all. These ain't aliens with spaceships and all that stuff like that, man. All right. These are fallen angels manifesting.
Hmm.
These are demons manifesting.
Mhm.
All right. All right. Spawns of Satan. All right. And I do believe it has a lot to do in the 1950s and what's going on with all these meetings, these different rituals, and all this stuff. And now in my mind, I'm beginning that maybe it wasn't like it wasn't the what you call it um Georgia Guidestones.
Mhm.
You know what I think? What happened to the Georgia Guidestones?
Mm.
I think they destroyed their own monument to rewrite history, to make people forget.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because look what all happened after that.
Mm-hmm.
All the events. You know what I'm saying? All the way to now, ever since the Georgia Guidestones were blown up. I think they did it. If they were taking down all the statues of Thomas Jefferson, yada yada, all that stuff like that, all right, they blew up the Georgia Guidestones, and now you're seeing Baphomets inside
State houses.
state houses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I mean, I'm sitting there just watching this. So I was like, wait, dude, it's a pattern. It's a pattern that only the Holy Spirit can give you, that you see how it works.
Right. I mean, there was a book that's been out for a while now. And I think the author, if I remember right, the author's name is Jonathan Kahn or Cohen, something like that. And it's called The Return of the Little G Gods.
Right.
And he breaks it down from, you know, the time of Semiramis and Tammuz in the Bible and Mesopotamia.
Right.
And, you know, the beginnings of these ancient idolatry gods, right? The symbols of the Statue of Liberty, the symbols of, you know, the goddess Ishtar, you know, all of these rituals that were done. And the fact that Tammuz was, you know, a sun god, the way that they, you know, describe it and depict it. He was a sun god born in the winter, right? Birth time around the end of the year. And, you know, she gets freaked out over, the mother gets freaked out and kills the son, if I remember the story correctly, and then goes to, you know, it follows a very similar story with ancient Norse mythology.
Right.
Where Thor goes to the underworld of Norse mythology to go rescue one of the other gods, and is saved by the Norse tree of life that becomes the symbol, the tree of life, Yggdrasil. The tree of life that connects the lower world to the upper world, and is very similar to some of the other stories, you know, that predate Jesus and the time of Jesus. And there are all these rituals. It's nothing new. It's just got a new name. It's all the same bloodlines. It's all the same deities. It's all the same, you know, rituals that are being done.
Right.
We just haven't been privy to them for a long time. And now they're able to play out on a world stage where before it was just stories.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were lucky, you would have one of the apostles come through your area and tell you about the stories. That's how that was the social media of the day,
Mm-hmm.
was through stories and music and storytelling and songs. And that's how people learned about, you know, all of these myths and legends and,
I mean, look at
miracles
Disney.
and everything else.
Look what's happening with Disney, and the wokeness, but also the person that got Bob Iger in it got Bob Iger in,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, is on the Epstein list. I forgot his name.
Not surprised. Yeah.
And I'm like, how is all this happening? I mean, this is a year of revelation. Welcome, y'all. The revealing is here. This
I mean, but
scroll has been opened.
what kills me is back in the day, they actually did something about it. Now, everybody's just going to sit on their thumbs and go, well, gee, what
You
do
know
we do
what?
with all this?
You know
They're
what,
telling
Joanne?
you what you're going to do. You're not going to do anything.
You know what? And this is what I keep on saying on Joshua mode, dude. I really believe that God's going to do something, and I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I believe. I don't know why. You know what I mean? I mean, I know why, but I don't know why. It's crazy. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
what does the story tell us? Because that's the playbook right there. The story tells us that there will be a battle in Megiddo. Okay. And the beast will rise up out of the sea and come onto the land. And then you'll see the whore of Babylon come out of the water on the serpent dragon with 10 heads and, blasphemy on them and all this other stuff going on. And, the other ones are going to come up and he's going to perform lying signs and wonders. And he'll be resurrected after he gets killed. And it says that the one that brings peace to the Middle East, the one that brings peace, when you've got Iran popping off, when you've got
Yeah,
Israel
man.
popping off, when you've got Palestine popping off, right?
And they all want to destroy Israel.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing is though, there's not an asymmetric bone inside my body, but I'm talking about the Jewish hierarchy. Not the common Jews, love all y'all,
Mm-hmm.
but these hierarchy Jews, like Sanhedrin level and government level or deep
Mm-hmm.
state level Jews that are not Jews, the ones that are not Jews that Jesus spoke of.
Mm-hmm. The
If you want,
synagogue of Satan.
you know, I said, look, dude, this right here, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm leaving this war to God because you know what? I am not allowed to pick a side on this.
No,
God won't let me.
we have to pray that
Hmm.
the innocent people that are God's
Right.
people
Because
are spared.
I respect God's creation.
Mm-hmm.
You
You
know,
don't see, you don't see the Muslims that are over there trying to commit genocide against the Judists
right.
because it's the same Abrahamic root.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But the
And
Jews and the Muslims in Israel get along.
right.
There's Muslims
Because
and Jews.
they all share, all three of the Abrahamic religions share
Mm-hmm.
the Old Testament and agree to it.
Mm-hmm. Just the
So,
Muslims don't believe in Jesus Christ, and the Jews don't believe in Jesus Christ.
and that's not for us to argue and bicker over
Mm-mm.
because people are converting every day.
Yeah, I'm not bickering about it. I mean, I just walk away now.
God, pray God opens our eyes to the truth. Pray God opens their heart to accept that if the Old Testament is true, because God spoke creation into existence, and if they can all agree that the Old Testament is sound and they all agree that that's the way things started, okay, if they can all stand on God's word with the Old Testament, it doesn't mean anything else after that that Jesus was part of, because Jesus was foretold all the way back to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So, to my mind, Jesus said, I am that I am. I am the Father. I am the Son. I am the Holy Spirit. I am the Son of God in the flesh.
It's like these cats don't know, man, what's about to go down. Like I said, I'm on Joshua mode, and I'm on what you call it, um Moses mode, dude,
Mm-hmm.
because it's about to go down. It's it's a, it's about.
I'm just going to take the blessing of all this weird weather that we've had,
Mm-hmm.
that hopefully the mosquitoes won't be as bad this year, and hopefully the ticks won't be as bad this year,
Huh.
because I intend to be fruitful and multiply my garden.
Right, right, right.
Absolutely and wholeheartedly.
Yeah. It's just crazy, man. How bad this world's getting though. It really, really is.
But the thing is, Jay, is that there's always still hope.
I feel bad for the people.
I do too,
Yeah, that's the
but
biggest
at the end of
thing.
the day, it gives me that much more conviction to teach my children to follow God's word, to teach my children to
And I think of my
use their hands and to grow.
and I think of my family, man. You know what I'm saying? They're caught up in this religious ecosystem, man. You know, and like that picture I put up, man. You know what I'm saying? That meme I put up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude, like, do you know what type of Christianity that you're backing? And it's just don't be. And it's all Catholicism, man. Christianity all started from Roman Catholicism, you know. And the Pope got us reread Peter. The Pope is not the first Pope, dude. I go, I go, Figuratively speaking, man, Peter would be rolling inside his grave right now on what the Pope just pulled.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Next, they were like, what? You know what I'm saying? He get up real quick, bump his head thing, and get knocked right back out because he got so mad he heard that. But true, I'm just saying, figuratively speaking, having fun. Dude, the Pope blasphemed God.
Multiple times over. Yeah.
But no, but this right here, this is the big one right here, dude. This is the big one right here. You know what I mean? I mean, this is an abomination from God. Wow.
Well, he'll have to answer it just like everybody else
Hmm.
twice over because he's leading them,
Dude, he's
he's leading
leading.
them
He's the
off the
dude.
cliff.
Dude, you talk about a definition of a false prophet. He's the grand poobah of all of them. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, I don't know about everybody else, but every time I see a picture of that man looking directly at the camera and it's an intentional picture, something about I don't know.
He's a
It just
Jesuit.
makes my skin crawl.
He's a Jesuit. Yeah, dude.
It makes my skin crawl. And I've said this before where, there have been people that I've met over the course of my years on this planet that for one reason or another, you know, especially the ones um that are quote unquote believers, I've met that have set off every like warning bell in my entire being, and I didn't know why.
Mm-hmm. That's what
And
happened when that shot came out.
that's exactly what happened.
And remember,
Was
we were talking about ivermectin way before. Way
Mhm.
before. I gotta find him one day, man. You're gonna have to help me find him receipts. You know what I'm saying? And just sit there and
Mhm.
fucking do good. But help me find them receipts and time cut them
I
because
mean,
we have a
that's
lot of
been something.
receipts. We have a lot of
That's been
receipts.
something that's been out there for a long time, and now, it's starting to be said, right? They didn't want everybody to go with the old protocols of this, that, and the third,
Oh yeah,
right?
they got
Everybody
everybody
had to
scared.
obey the
At
new
the-
protocols,
yeah, they
which
got the
were
okay.
dangerous.
Here's something. They got disease X. They don't know what it is, but they got a vaccine for it.
And I think I remember in mid 2021, right as we had hit like the first wave of all the people going to go partake of the experiment, that I remember reading something about an mRNA cancer vax. And
Mhm.
I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Straight out of a Hollywood script.
Mhm.
And I looked at it and I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Dude, and
They're
it's
going to try to cure cancer with a vaccine. And the very first thing I thought of when I saw that article was I thought of Will Smith hiding in the bathtub
wait,
with the dog barking because it was getting late and dark
well,
out.
you know what? Um, out here there's a lot of ranchers and stuff, and they say that what cures that cancer is a parasite,
Absolutely.
and they say that what cures cancer is dog, no, is a sheep dewormer.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. What it does is that particular parasite causes cells that are in your body, takes the healthy tissue and healthy cells and causes them to mass replicate and essentially multiply. And if you look at a lot of the symptoms of, some of these parasitic infections, it mirrors almost every health issue most Americans have today and most of the world has. From, fatigue to, high blood pressure to, autoimmune disorders to allergies to, inflammation, all these different things. And honestly, 90% of health issues that exist, if you were to take a coroner, if you were to gather a group of 1,000 coroners all around this country and ask them how many times during autopsies they run into, different kinds of either amoebic parasites, which are, gotten through contaminated water, whether it's swimming in water, open sources of water, pools, ponds, lakes, rivers. You can't get away from it.
Mm-mm.
Right. And in particularly if you're an avid traveler, if you're an avid outdoor enthusiast, if you really, enjoy fishing, hiking, camping, swimming, whatever it might be, if you're, one of us older school folks and you ran around barefooted and played in the dirt when you were a kid, you're bound to come into contact with stuff. And certainly there's all sorts of environmental critters. And then there's, the bacterial critters. And there's multiple kinds of these kinds of detoxes. And what's usually from a medical standpoint worse for us is undertreating these as opposed to overtreating them. But you can't do it all at once. You have to do it in a regimen about every 3 months and then, do a different one, and then every 3 months and then do a different one. Now, ivermectin is one, fenbendazole is another. You've got several different ones that are on those lines, and it comes down to food pathogens, it comes down to environmental pathogens and water pathogens, plain and simple. So many of us have pets, so many of us have, there are more people that live in, country than there are in the city, even though the cities are very densely populated. You're still going to run across, um, ticks. And ticks are parasites, plain and simple. And the one big thing that ticks around here are known for is Lyme's disease, and that's contracted through a bacteria that is basically another type of antigen or parasite infection.
Mm-hmm.
And all it takes is a very short course of antibiotics.
Mm.
You know,
So do you think that there's going to be a start of a civil war?
I mean, it's possible. They keep pushing things. And if that's another thing, if you've been paying attention, right? First it was the election, and then it was masks and shots.
It ain't
And all
February
of
yet.
these called for people to, basically snitch on each other. Right? If you remember, I do, they had the, report your neighbor for going out without a mask and this, that, and the third.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they had to shut those call centers down because they were blowing up. Literally within the first week, all of those call centers, that the talking heads like the Maxine Waterses and the Nancy Pelosi's and some of the other louder ones that were out there talking about publicly shaming others, their neighbors, their family, for not
There's still
following the
people running
orders.
around wearing masks right now.
And I get it, because you got to think about it from the other side. There are a lot of people that got wrecked from taking that medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it may not be that they're doing that by choice. They may now have an autoimmune disease. They may have contracted a new health disorder or illness that they are battling as a result of that wrecking their immune system.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There are numbers that are in the tens of millions of people that were killed because of this stuff. And it's no different than any other new therapy or, medication that came out when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
Every single medication
for
that
next
has ever
5
been
years.
approved, every single medication that's ever been approved by our FDA was and has been taken off the market or taken out of and discontinued was approved by them first. Every one. Every single one. It was approved by the FDA, and then later, because of lawsuits, illness, not being given full disclosure and being fully informed of the possible risks of those particular, medications, people were injured.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been like that for the last 20 years. From medical devices and implants to ingredients in everyday products that cause cancer to, side effects, including death. And I promise you, that little blip that they give you when you get a medication, even if you've been taking it forever, that possible side effects is only a small piece of the list. You have to call to get the full list. You have to go look it up to get the full list because it's only a Cliff Notes version. And every single one of them that's ever been approved that ended up getting pulled off was approved first.
Mm.
And that's not fudging a number. That's not over,
Man, come
that's
on.
not
Remember that
misinformation.
show I did? You remember that show I did when I sat there and I compared the flu to the COVID?
Mm-hmm.
I got that video somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But it's like flu was non-existent when COVID was out,
Mm-hmm.
and they were getting paid an extra $40,000 per
Well, the
COVID
funny
flu.
thing was, the first round, if you will, was pretty rough, but it still wasn't as contagious. Okay.
I really was. Man, I really think it was the flu because I saw the graphs.
Well, and here's the funny thing. Stomach viruses are far more contagious, and they last a hell of a long time on surfaces, to the point to where if you've got somebody in your house that's got a stomach bug, particularly if it's the norovirus stomach bug, not just a little touch of it could be food poisoning, it could be, something else. I mean, a full tilt, full bore, full on stomach virus.
The cramps and all that.
Yes, that
That's
will live
24
on the
hours.
surface
Yeah.
for up to a month almost. And you can get reinfected right after you stop having symptoms of it.
Yeah.
And by the time it runs the course through the whole family in one house, because of shared quarters and proximity, you're going to end up getting it all over again and possibly a third time. But I've also heard it said time and again that if you follow germ theory, then no bug has ever been isolated.
Hmm.
Bacteria exist, yes. Protozoas exist, yes. Parasites exist, yes. All of those things. But is it a virus or is it bacteria?
See, I won't go in
Because
the
there's
I
a
won't
hell
go in
of a
the
lot.
lake. I won't go in the lakes, creeks, or anything like that, man, because amoebas, man, because you're just starting to find them amoebas everywhere.
Well, that's what dysentery was back in the day. It was from protozoas that lived in the water.
Brain eaters.
And there's all sorts of stuff like that.
Hmm.
They had a horrible show that I was absolutely thoroughly fascinated and disgusted by at the same time. I think it was on Animal Planet. It was called Monsters Inside Me, and it was all about parasites and all this other stuff. Now, the crazy thing with that is that if you undertreat with anti-parasitic cleanses and detoxes and things like that, they can migrate to other tissue, because the way a lot of those kind of organisms work is they go for a specific place, right? Where what is it? The zombie deer stuff attacks the brain and the brainstem. Okay, rabies does the same type of thing, but rabies is more along the lines of a transmittable bacteria type virus, if you will. And it can be transferred through bodily secretions and saliva. Hence, if something bites you and it's got rabies, you've got a pretty daggone good shot of contracting it through contaminated saliva.
Yep.
And that is the mechanism of the thing, right? Now, what do they tell us that happens to us when we have a buildup of too many heavy metals in our system? It attacks our brain. It attacks our body in a way that causes brain fog, forgetfulness, loss of coordination, loss of speech, loss of motor function, right?
Yeah, and the fluor and all the fluoride they put inside the water, which actually corrodes your pineal gland.
And it causes brain fog. It causes fatigue. It causes inflammation. It causes a number of things. And if you go into all of the different medical papers that they've done studies that say that,
All the peer review papers.
oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You go into all of them and you look at it, it's a buildup of toxins and it's a buildup of contamination of our environment, contamination in our food and our water,
Right.
right? There are so many animals, right? They were talking, what did they tell everybody not to go to the beach because it's running off into the water? Well, what do you think else runs off into the water? What do you think else runs off into water systems and the watershed in a system? Particularly if you're around a Navy base or an Air Force base,
Hmm.
or you've got a, you know, uh, I don't know, I'm just going to say a power plant near you, or you've got, 30, auto body garages in your city. All of the chemicals that come off our vehicles, that come out of our environment just on a day to day, the farming chemicals, the, you know, chemicals that are dumped from businesses, all the stuff that goes in there, it's all pollution and contamination, every bit of it.
Mm.
And it's not that we're getting sick from, this, that, or whatever. It's because of the pollutants and the chemicals that are being bombarded at us through our food, in the water, in the environment, and the crap that's in our house, and the crap that's in our vehicles, and all this other stuff.
Good old Bill Gates.
Good old corporations,
Hmm.
Nobody thinks about what happens when a fracking company comes to set up shop in your neighborhood. Nobody thinks about the fact that they're putting basically water into the water table, and then all of the noise that you're not supposed to hear from true fracking, right, is them dumping all of that water back in to the same hole that they used to get all that gas out of. And they tell you flat out on their public, announcements that they have to do, that they're going to dump all of these different carcinogens into the water in your area. And 15 of the 30 that they're going to dump are known carcinogens. People don't think about that. They don't think about the air bases and the Navy yards and the oil refineries and the, paint shops and, all of these giant factories and businesses where they're doing all this other stuff, plus the farming stuff. God help any of those people that were living and surrounded by the fields that were being sprayed with the Roundup. Right? There were people that worked in those fields that their job was to spray the Roundup, that got sick. It is a bombarding of our body in a method to make us sick, to make a profit, and to pervert our vessels, to break us down. They get paid to treat the symptoms, not the problem.
It goes right back to Kari Lake, man.
Mm-hmm.
On the way these people think, man. I mean, this right here, you seen the devil's mind, literally.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I'm gonna close out 11 minutes. Watch this in its entirety. If you want to see it, then after this, I'm out of here, man. So last time, no distractions. Just go through the whole thing, and we out. Hold on, as soon as I find it. There we go.
So what's going on? I'm assuming this is our friend.
This this is back east. There are very powerful people that want to keep you out. Of the
I know
census,
they do.
but they're willing to put their money where their mouth is in a big way. So this conversation never happened.
This is crazy, though. They should want me. I'm a great candidate. People love me. These people are corrupt.
Well, maybe you're right.
They are right. They are corrupt.
Maybe. This never happened. Don't go. Do me a favor though. I'll get myself in trouble. This, if you say no, which is fine, it's your choice. Don't tell people.
They're gonna try to have me murdered.
Not either. Today's world, man. If that stuff that came out last week is right about the cartel stuff, man. Right? They say the cartel's operating in 50 states right now, like all 50. You know? So
what's going on? Who is it? What?
forget the who. Let me just tell you the what. Let's just say there are people calling around saying, gosh, no, they can't repeat this. Never repeat this. If you say no, don't. If you say, I got offered to buy out. Don't use it. Because then we lose our ability to get things done in the future.
Here's my problem. Rather than just say, let's work with her. She's a great candidate. Because they don't own me. And it pisses me off.
Yeah, it's not almost about ownership.
It's about control.
I don't know it's about control. It's about being on the team. I guess that's, you know what I mean?
They want to be on the team.
They want you to be on their team.
But
Just team. You know?
But if they're pushing a globalist agenda, I can't do that. So what do they want? What do they want me to do?
You want to stay out for 2 years. But I'll tell you what I can offer you. But I said you can do whatever you want. It's a talking head, isn't it? So the ask of me was, it's kind of funny. So the ask I got today from back east was, this has to stay between us. Is there any companies out there or something that could just put her on the payroll and give her to keep her out? And I said, well, what do you want them to do? Like, whatever we need to do.
This is about defeating Trump. And I think that's a bad, bad thing for our country. DeSantis is not America first. This is about the final death blow to Trump. And I don't think that's good for our country.
And you know I love Trump. I love Trump.
It's not good for our country, Jeff.
It's not. But at the same time, I'm not even sure Trump can win again. I don't know that he can win again. I think what it really comes down to for a lot of people, it's not really about like control or agenda. It's just about the ability to raise money to win. You know, if you really want to know, all of politics boils down to money. I think. Absolutely. And even on their end, like what makes them the most money?
I know. All these consultants don't want their payday to end. And I don't want to make a deal with these kind of people. This is a hill worth dying on. I'm not, if they're going to steal the election to make me and our movement go away, I'm not letting them do that. I owe it to the people of Arizona
Or
to carry their torch and their voice.
you don't go away, but you pause.
This is the battles right now, Jeff.
You pause. And you fill your coffers.
No, the battle is right now. The battle is right now. And we don't have time to pause on this battlefield.
You're not. You can't scratch their back. It's not afraid of you.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to offer them. And they're sitting around people that have something to offer them. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a back scratching club. That's all DC is. It's a big back scratching club. You're in no position to scratch anybody's back, and you've already made it known that if you get there, you're not going to scratch anybody's back. I don't scratch people's back. You know, I've been on the outs with a lot of people for a long time because I don't scratch backs. You know, where are we in 2 years if they steal the election again?
Listen to what you're saying. Why don't we do something about it so that we the people can pick our...
What can we do?
I'm not willing to accept that. And I'm going to be the biggest pain in these people's... Go back and tell them that. I'm running, and I'm going to be the biggest pain in their...
I'm willing to tell them that.
And they're going to have to kill me to stop me.
No, I know. Look, and
You don't have to tell them that, but
no,
I don't think they will, but...
I don't think that's the way they are.
Either they come around and try to work with me, or I'm
What
just
would that
going
entail?
that would entail not
All of
telling
them-
layman's telling me you got to distance yourself from Trump. No, you distance yourself
well,
from DeSantis.
He's all butthurt about that.
But what I'm saying is, don't tell people that. I'm with Trump, okay? I want to work for
I
the
love
betterment of Arizona. I'm not going to let these people back in DC tell me not to run.
I'm telling you.
I'm not going to pause for 2 years. The battle is now. I'm offended by whoever these people are that they're trying to buy me out of.
Well, you should be honored.
That I'm offended that there's people back there who just don't get about our country.
Do you understand though? You should be honored. That means they know how powerful you are.
Well, I can tell them
If
that.
you weren't powerful, they wouldn't want to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Right? You should be. Very few people get this.
I know. I'm pissed that they don't care more about our country. It's all about the mighty dollar to them. And that's offensive.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
They want to get Trump so bad. They want him out
It's
so
not
bad.
about Trump. This isn't about Trump. It's about you. It's not about Trump.
I'm gonna
It's about you. It's not about Trump. Some people that are in on this. I know.
listen. I can win. Why don't you go back and tell them that I can win? And why don't they get behind me?
I see these things through a different lens. It's very personal to you. This was you. It was your name on the ballot, and I get that. And it's a very personal thing.
Well, I have a appointment coming up, and I have to work on my book.
Yeah.
I'm not good. I appreciate their concern.
Just to say, is there a number at which
I can be bought.
not people?
That's what it's about.
You can take a pause for a couple of years.
No.
And then go right back to what you're doing.
No. 10 million, 20 million, 30, no. A billion, no. This is not about money. This is about our country. I think it's disturbing that they would even, that anybody would think this is.
No, to be fair, even me, I'll say this. I want a fresh face right now for the reason that I've never seen anyone, I can't think of a single person in a federal race who's lost, ran in and won. I can't think of it. If you can think of it, let me know.
I am not going to let these people who hate our country tell me not to run. You should call them and tell them to get behind me.
I mean,
I can
would
win,
say
and they
those
should
words.
get behind me.
I will happily say those words.
Yeah.
Do you think my words will carry any weight?
Okay, well, did you think you would come in here and that I would be bought?
It's not being bought.
Yes, it is.
I think.
It is being bought.
No.
They are trying to buy me out of running.
What
And
I
it's actually, I mean, all right, I'm flattered. I'm offended. I'm
What I
offended for our
think-
country.
what I
We have
think is
people like this who live here.
What I think is this, is it can give you an incredible opportunity to have a bigger voice to fight for stuff than you currently do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want to deal with people like this. These people are un-American, and I think they're unethical, and I would be absolutely immoral if I did that.
Again,
That's immoral. I couldn't look at I couldn't look at myself in the mirror if I, you know.
it's very powerful people that are willing to, they really want someone different. They want new names, whatever it is.
So they want Jim Lehman. That's a new name.
No, actually, that's not even, that's a possibility, but they're even asking me like.
I know they've got all these new names, and I'm going to beat each and every one of them. Sorry, Jeff. Take it back to them.
Oh,
I gotta get working.
I know.
I love you, but I gotta get working.
All right, I appreciate it.
I'm just can't believe this.
Hey, again, be honored. Instead of them just them working to beat you, they're trying to
This is about getting Trump out.
Nah,
Yeah, it is.
Trump never came once.
But it's about DeSantis, getting DeSantis in. Getting DeSantis is getting Trump out.
You're reading too deep into it.
Well, let's see what happens. Maybe my case will go through. Maybe they'll do the right thing.
I hope so.
I do too. That's my first goal. But they can't have me in the governor's office because then we're going to root out some of this corruption.
But again, it's like,
You know what it is? The people don't get to choose their elected officials unless they're pre-approved by the swamp. And the swamp doesn't pre-approve of me.
you need a strong party to help
I think
win.
you should go public with this and then say, hey,
no.
these people don't want to, they don't want,
And then
they're,
I turn my key in my car and I go,
you know.
I like my car.
Tell them I'm not flattered. I'm offended that
Don't
they,
tell anybody we had this conversation.
I'm offended that they don't care about our country more.
I actually wish you'd just give me a counter offer this big. Give me a counter.
I can't be bought.
Come on.
I can't.
All right, I'll see.
Okay, bye-bye.
There it is. You know, in its entirety, man. It sounds like they try to do a quid pro quo with her. You know? But man, you know, this is what it is, man. This is the government that we have. This is the one we're trying to stop. And me personally, man, I think Kari Lake should be VP. That's just me. You?
I mean, it's crazy. You know, it is worthy of being offended
Mm-hmm.
to think that, you know,
Yeah.
that everybody has a price
Mm-hmm.
and that morals and values and character are something that can just be bought. No.
Mm-hmm. As I said, man, this is far beyond subscribers. This is far beyond, for me, it's far beyond money. It's far beyond subscribers. It's far beyond a lot of things, dude. A lot of things. I mean, right here, that you're actually listening to a conversation of mind of the devil. You know what I'm saying? The mind of the devil. Oh yeah, I know that, man. Everything's high. It's going to get worse. You know? But anyways, man, I'm gonna call it tonight, man. You got the gist of what's happening, man. Just keep trying me, try to leave me. Wake up, y'all. Wake up on a for real. Because you know what? It's not going to get any better. Believe me when I say this. It's not going to get any better. Any last words? And yeah, God bless you. Any last words?
Just get out and do what you can. Think about it. Pray about it. And if God moves you to move your feet, make sure that you are moving your feet according to where He's directing them.
Yeah, man. Keep us faithful, man. We're out. Peace.
Flat night in my car, man, put on a lip to